Hello, welcome back. Trying to get the chat work. Good night, starting up. Stop it, Alex. Supposedly. Chat. Add more tags. I can add more tags. Well, that's definitely a tag I should have. Add more tags. Oh my god. What else should I have? Don't really know. Evil characters. Enough. Oh, okay. It's funny how many people still believe that the virus doesn't exist. Get out of here, Facebook. No, don't immediately just scroll down Facebook again. As I then continue to load Facebook. Oh, wow, that might be application. Still have a blocked ear from last stream. Okay. What are we doing today? Oh, I still haven't got the chat. I knew I was looking for something. Like, what am I tabbing around for? Kill the chat. Bring the chat back again. Nope. Kill the chat. Oh, press to join. Feel free to ask questions if you wanna know what's going on. Hello there, kitty cat. Nope. 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 Yeah, that ain't gonna load, is it? Button? Nope. That button. Yes. Hey, chat's open. Click. Go away. Oh, is anybody on? Never anybody on there. Boop. Kitty cat. There we go. So, what the heck was I up to last time?
Drafts a CANT. What code is this?
Kitty cat wants attention. Kitty cat. I'm much happy today. You're so upset yesterday. Or this morning. Yeah. She kept running across me while trying to sleep. Which she normally does. But she just kept doing it over and over again. I'd fall back to sleep every time she did it, and then wake up again. And she did it the next time. And I'm like, oh, must be like, at least this time, judging by how many times she's run across me. I look at my watch and I'd only been asleep for like 2 hours. I'm like, bruh, kitty. I started waking up. I didn't want to do that. Let's get out of here this time. You're a happy kitty cat right now, aren't you? Oh, there it is. The stare of death. Big kitty cat. So, what the heck am I up to? I did a thingy. When I left yesterday, I didn't quite come back because I was well too tired and didn't think I was going to be doing anything for that long, so I just did stuff in the background. Cool. So I added an extra pause break button, and I messed around with the what do you call it, bit, the recipe finding thing. There was a number of problems with it, so I pretty much just recoded all that again from scratch. I now have the recipes sorted by input. I got an input and output, and input side. So all input sides are also an input. All back inputs are also an input, and then a side 2 input. So if you put a side input in, yeah, if you put a side input in, and both sides have the same input, then the side input side 2 also gets a thing. So it's not left side, right side sort of a thing. It's a side or both sides with the same object. Because when you're finding an item, it would refine the search based on how many things you put into it. So, like, if you put an iron rod and a plate, there's only one thing that has both an iron rod and a plate. Actually, there's two things, but whatever, let's just pretend there's one thing. And then if you put an iron rod and an iron rod, then it should only come up with the iron rod plate thing, the side back. But it didn't, because both sides had the same inputs. So it would have all the things that has the side input of an iron rod. But only one thing has two side rods inputs as side inputs as a rod. So that should have been all the information it needed to narrow it down. So that's what that's for. So I got that, and then I made a recipe make things to check to see what you could make with side back side. And it does the same weird thing where if both sides are the same thing, it does a thing, the checklist thing. There's all my recipes. So iron rods make 4 different things. 2 things have both sides being an iron rod. Oh, my ear just unblocked. Oh my god. Oh, that's so good. Oh, it's finally unblocked. I can't wait to go to sleep in a couple of hours and have it immediately block up again. Anyway, so yeah, I made that thing and I can just type it into the console. So yeah. So an iron rod can create all of those things. 2 iron rods, which this would be an iron rod at the side, iron rod at the back, can only make a gear. 3 iron rods can only make a gear. 2 iron rods and iron plate can only make a frame. And then 2 iron rods on the side with an undefined back one would be an Iron Gear Iron Frame. So what's that Facebook notification? It never notifies me for no reason. Got one person completely misunderstanding what I was saying, and another person who's got very conspiracy things about what the coronavirus is, which is hilarious. What? This guy was saying the coronavirus, or corona is nothing you can create it with a cat litter box, I think is what he meant to say, if you don't clean it for a year or so. And some people died because of that and other things, and it's a ozone problem. Uh, it's only a problem with areas without wind and high population because it's an aerosol. Gets carried by the wind. That's not quite what that would be, but yes, that's technically correct. He's like technically correct about everything, but he doesn't understand that the coronavirus is like what I said is like a snake. There, corona is like saying a snake. There is many different types of snakes. If a new snake is discovered and it's very very bad, like a very bad snake, a very poisonous one or something, you can't just say, oh, but there's not poisonous snakes, so it can't be that bad. You know, yes, it's a snake, but it's a different snake. And then he starts going on about how the whole thing is just a political marketing war meant to change currency prices so the euro is strong now. And something about the yellow vests in France that were close to getting their movement complete is now controlled by fear. I'm like, bruh. It was like said a whole lot of stuff about that. I'm like, oh, I'm just speculating about your speculations, though. And he's like, oh, I'm speculating about speculations too. It's a weird thing. Weird thing. The death numbers are real low, and most people that died would be what? The death numbers are real low, and most people that died would be also wiped out by the flu. Just reply, nobody here, so whatever. Oh, you were here. If you even exist. I think you're a person who didn't look like they exist. Well, you did look like you existed, but not existing at the same time. Oh, hello. Wow, all of the lemons. Oh, I better go back to work then. Let me just... Yeah, whatever, I wanted to post it. Go away, Facebook. Okay, what was it on? So, yeah, the checking thing needs to check the things, and when there's only one thing left, it produces a thing, is the general idea of what I'm trying to do here, but there was a problem with it. What was the problem? As long as there's no two recipes that require all of the exact same ingredient. Oh, the problem might be, what if something needs an iron rod from one side and an iron rod in the back, but doesn't need two iron rods? So I'm going to have to figure out any time a recipe could overlap like that, because that can't happen. Otherwise, does it... Oh, wait, no, I had a solution for this. If there's a conveyor belt connected. Okay. So if there's a conveyor belt connected to sides of the thing, that it'll wait from an input from each side the conveyor belt is connected before it crafts whatever it is. That way I can determine how many inputs it's waiting for, and then what inputs require those things but nothing on the end. Okay. So I need to be able to exclude things. That's a whole other problem. How would I exclude things? I'd really like it if I didn't have to check backwards. That's the whole thing I was trying to avoid with this whole side thing. Otherwise I wouldn't really need that. I could just say inputs. Well, I mean, I guess a side input and a back input. So, where's my music at? That's what's missing. I thought it seemed a little too quiet. Just because I want to hear the beep beeps. Music seems an ever so slight amount low. But it may not be, I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so... because, yes, this thing. So if you had an iron rod on the side and an iron plate in the back, is it making an iron frame or an iron... Well, I guess only one of them's got the excluded thing, so that's great. So how do I check for that? So a way I could do that... but then if I... So I need to know if it's undefined or null, I suppose. So is it an unknown ingredient that it's waiting for, or is there no ingredient there? Okay. Well, yeah, if I just say that this is a nothing ingredient that's there by default, then it would be this ingredient, a nothing ingredient, and that ingredient. And there's only one thing with that. Okay, that works. So undefined is an ingredient? Or do I just say nothing? What would I say to that? I could just say undefined as a string. But I feel like that's gonna get checked. Is it? I assume so, but maybe not. Is undefined as a string the same as an undefined without? Undefined equal to undefined? No. Okay. I just stringify all of those. Just to add in a bit of extra confusion, it's an unknown, not so much an undefined. But let's just go with undefined. Okay. So now if I said this, that would be two different things. And if I said undefined, it would be the same two different things. But if I say undefined as a string, you don't like that. Output of undefined. Interesting. Is my ear blocked again? It's blocked again. When did that happen? 1258. Where's it at? 1258. because I didn't save and upload. Okay, so that's a recipe that does not exist. Output of undefined. Easy fix. Those are not both the same things. I'll just do it that way. Two different conditions. Okay. That one can just be this though. Okay, that should fix that error. And I'm just going to assume it works with the undefined thing. Okay. So moving on out. Next thing to do is for it to check these things. It does return a name. All I need is the name. And I just need to plug this in through the combiner. So the combiner will have to check that depending on the inventory of the three different sides of the thing. So you need an inventory, you have an inventory of three different sides, great. Inventory needs to be assigned when an item goes into it, which is different to the way that items currently do that thing, because for whatever reason that logic is built into the individual items themselves. So when an item is moving around, it's trying to go into the object inventory. The object inventory is an array, or the object is a combiner. Let's say if the object is a combiner. Object dot. What are you? I don't say. Okay. I could say item, couldn't I? The item is a combiner that it is going into, and then I could just keep that naming conventional the same. Unless I wanted objects to be placed to be something different. The cube is the building itself, the combiner is the combiner, and then we'll just have the input. So everything should have one of those now. So where was that up to? Blah 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 blah. So where am I at? So inventories, inventory, if it's object inventory, so if this is inside of an object's inventory, then we want to move it from the last one it is to its new one, so this is already in its new inventory? No. So I need to assign it to be in its new inventory, the inventory active side? So that's cycling the active side of the conveyor belts to output to the next side. So this is, so it's moving to the thing. If it's at the thing or past the thing, then it is now at the thing. And the thing that it's now at is, why have I got a... Okay, so this is trying to work out where it's currently trying to get to. So object inventory, so it's still currently stored into its last position, which it's now just moved from. So it's on one conveyor belt going to the next conveyor belt. It's now at the next conveyor belt. But if it's at the next conveyor belt, why am I... Object inventory connected, okay, or connected direction. No. It was at this inventory, now it's at that one, so it transferred from where it was to where it's at. And now where it's at is where it was, and it needs to know what next one it's going to, out of the 4 different directions a conveyor belts can output to. That's what that's about. So I'm assuming conveyor belts don't have the type. Should I just have type be conveyor belt? Or should the type be the individual type of conveyor belt? Or item? I guess item is a conveyor belt, and that would be a type. Okay. So that's all of that stuff. And yeah. So now we know what is and is not a conveyor belt. This would just be if that is a conveyor belt, then we'd want to do this. So the item that the inventory that this object is inside of is a conveyor belt. Then we do the four-way split thing. Else, if whatever, I guess I could have an error for another alternate version, but that's not. Else, if you are combiner, and then we know we are in a combiner. If we are going to a combiner, we don't need to worry about. Well, we sort of do need to worry about the whole that. Why is the brakes in here? Oh, well, that's breaking out of that, so this doesn't need a brake. Okay, so if we're going into a combiner, the combiner has 3 different inventory slots for the sides and back. We need to know which one we're going into. To know which one we're going into, we need to know the rotation of the combiner, and we need to know where we are going. Okay, so conveyor belts have this already worked out. Well, sort of. It's worked out in the conveyor belt math, but not within this math. This is just active side. It's just always going to go to whatever. It doesn't care where it's coming from, only where it's going to. I care what we're coming from now. So is this connected to the side, or is it connected to the back? It's going to depend on rotation. What is rotation? So the rotation I'm using for the conveyor belts is... Is it a 1, 2, 3, 4? How does that work? It's a rotation radion thing. Interesting. That just means there could be routing errors. Just have a 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. I think I'm going to code this a different way with the 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should just have an input, a rotation by default. So we're just going to say, what are we going to say? So 0 would be its the way that it's always facing, which means back is north, or far north. So it's behind it. Like, north is the way you're looking, and that's face. So yeah, I guess if you're standing in it, but it's the back is north. Yeah, whatever. So do I use that a lot? I sort of do, don't I? Well, I use both of them a lot. I could just call it inventory and inventory last and drop the object part, but that's only if it exists. I don't really use the last one that much. I could just call this OBJA, as I usually do, hanging B. But let's just stick with what we got. Okay, so we want to know what side we're going to go into. We need to know the... But how do we know what relative direction the conveyor belt is? I could literally get just object locations. Active side? I mean, that would technically sort of be able to tell me how to do that as well, but that doesn't feel like a good way of doing it either. Wow, my CPU usage just went through the roof. What's going on? What just drained on my CPU? Wow. Damn it. What the heck? Come on. Oh, it's back down now. Don't know. I'm gonna finish writing out that thing on Facebook now. One notification. Oh. Blah, 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 blah. How many people died in World War II? $85 million. So that's 3 lots of zeros. 100,000 million. Yeah. So that's 85 with 6 zeros. How many people have died of the coronavirus worldwide so far? Alright, so it's not quite that high. 700,000. What's World War I death count? 40 million. Wait, now it's saying 60 million. Wait, million. Hang on. 1,000. Wait, what? Huh. I thought the coronavirus went over World War I death count. Apparently not. Why? Googling this isn't helpful because this is very out of date stuff I'm seeing. Well, so where am I? Just hide this music video. Okay, so blah 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 blah. Getting the rotation of the object. So I know what the rotation is. Now I need to know what location this is relative to what that is, and I could find that out by just seeing the location of tiles. And then I just offset based on the rotation number tiles around. So how would I do this? I feel like there has to be a better way of doing this. Before I would get it by the connection direction, and then I would just offset to the side by the rotation, job done. I have absolutely no clue why I'm doing the rotations in that weird way. Because I'm just converting it out straight away. So I guess there wouldn't be a rounding error. Whatever. Oh, maybe because that's literally where I'm storing the rotation. Never mind. I'm literally getting its rotation to find out what its rotation is. Rotation offset. So what time is it? How long do I have to go? 1.5 hours? Try to get this done in 1.5 hours. Yeah, right. Don't believe it. So blah 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 blah. Combiner will. So yeah, I could just get its location, the conveyor belt's last inventory location. That'll give me a side. Then I just offset that around by the thing. So if I know what rotation it is, then I know the direction that is its output. What directions are its inputs? More problems. This actually needs a different input. I didn't think about that. So I just completely overrode the inventory to be this thing. Did that have an inventory previously? Hang on. Okay, its previous inventory may have been a problem. Is it? What is the... because the item would have been coming from the combiner. Which means the combiner... is obj-a. Ah, from object. So it's creating a gear, which is object B, and then object B's inventory is object A. Object A is object connected to. So that would be the conveyor belt it's outputting to, and inventory last is this object, and inventory A inventory is this. Okay. So it's its last inventory, so it doesn't matter, it's all good. The problem would be when, yeah, this thing. Okay, great. I thought it was assigning itself to both inventories. Okay. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I feel like there must be a better way of doing this in some story. It doesn't feel right. It feels too basic. To just literally be checking rotations. Like, I should just have it over there. Set this item is there. Job done. So, whatever, let's just do it. Object inventory is the combiner. Wait a second. What do you mean object inventory is the combiner? So when it reaches the combiner, so it needs to know that it's going to the combiner first, so The conveyor belt active, inventory. This thing would be messing up though. So it's on a conveyor belt now. It's trying to move to the combiner. Okay, actually, so this isn't even a thing. I can actually completely forget about this, and this just simply stops. I could just... I need to... So the object is inside of the combiner at this point, and it's ready to start combining. That means I don't need to render this anymore. I could disable it from being rendered, and delete it, really. Well, let's just disable it from being rendered for now. I could delete it. I could literally just delete it. I mean, there will be a storage version of it within the inventory of this. A meta stored thing. I suppose I could just say object.delete. Because this doesn't know that it's stored within here. It doesn't know this yeah, the object doesn't know it's stored inside of this inventory, so doing the delete thing won't delete it from that inventory as well. It'll just delete it from everywhere else in existence, and the only instance of the object should be within this inventory. So when I'm done with it, I just delete the inventory, job done. Although I feel like I should be deleting things from inventory, which deletes them from the world. I feel like I should just be stopping it from being rendered. I don't know why though. What purpose would I have? I would never want this object back again. Unless you deleted this thing and this object pops back into existence on the ground or something, but I don't want that. It's just going to be straight up deleted. So I feel like I can just delete that. Sure, why not? Okay, so the problem is with this thing. So when you find what you are wanting to be, then it's the inventory... Okay, so that's making it forget about this. Inventory connected A inventory equals object. So that's what I gotta check. What is this? Regardless, that will be happening. So if that dot item is equal to the combiner, or more so the conveyor belt, if that is equal to the conveyor belt, then I would want this to go. Either way, I'd want the break to happen. Yep. Inventory last. Well, technically, I suppose that would happen regardless. And object inventory equals this thing. So that would also happen regardless. So the only difference is if conveyor belt's happening, we're just shoving it through like that. Else if combiner, then this would depend on the rotation. So that's what I gotta figure out. Okay. So I guess I could get the connection side, and then offset that to the rotation of the conveyor belt, and then I just need to know if it's out. Well, I would assume it's outputting if it's going into a conveyor belt. Then I could figure out the rotation of the object with that, which sounds a heck of a lot more complicated than just getting the tile. But it would be less lines of code. Ow. Sharp pain in my hand. Good. Okay, so yeah, it'd be easy just to do that thing, but how could I do that without doing a whole lot of conditions? So one way would be getting that thing, offsetting it by this thing, and then getting the rotation of that thing, and then doing some weird math with that. Okay, so either way it would have the same things. Yeah. Okay. So the way to do this would just be to simply get the object inventory. Is that right? Is that right? I want this. It would be to get this thing dot tile. Let's just say, let's say tile. Tile is equal to that, and then we need to get. Okay, we need that to not happen yet. The order of these things matter. That one not so much. So we need to delete it, make that undefined before we assign this. I guess that can be assigned at any point. Alright, so I just need that to happen afterwards. Because we need to use this to get the other tile. And say that thing equals that thing 0 minus this thing 0. And do that again. One. Okay. Tile 0, blah blah, 1 blah blah. So this should make it relative to the position of the combiner. So this would just be an offset of plus or minus 1 in the x or y, one or the other, which would tell me the location. And then basically I'd want to rotate this around a 0 location to do whatever. I could do it that way, and I think I'm going to, because that's just the simplest way to do it. Which is making extremely complicated math to do something which is potentially really, really simple, I think. But whatever. So Pyro. Yeah, sure. Pyro of tile by. Is that how that works? I'm assuming that's how that works. So I want to rotate this point around a 0 location by this thing dot rotation. Negative. So that's its relative location, plus or minus left or right sort of thing. So if it's negative in... Oh god, but then I got that damn thing because everything's placed in negative space for no apparent reason. Oh boy. I really gotta fix that, but that messes up a lot of math now. Yeah, so if this is... So that would positive? If this isn't positive, then it's to the left. If it's positive x. If it's negative x, it's to the right. And if it's positive y, then it's in the back. And it should never be a negative y. So that's minus, that's plus, that's plus, that's minus. So if 0 is up here, and we're in negative space, yeah. So it should be positive in that direction, positive in that direction. 0 should normally be there. So the only axis that should be flipped is left, is up and is left and what? But then if it's so so 0 should be there. We're looking forwards in the x, so that would be positive x no matter what. That'd be negative. So that would be negative y. That'd be positive y. I think. So everything should be the same in a relative location. Yes, that is how that would work. Okay, whatever. because we're just moving 0 to the middle. It's just that left and right is confusing. So that's positive y, that's positive x. Positive z is up. Whatever. Pi wrote that, that is what you're equal to. And assuming no rounding errors, which this most definitely could have, I just need to say that equals wibbly wobbly. Why do I feel like wibbly wobbly doesn't work in negative numbers, and then why do I suddenly feel like it actually does work in negative numbers? I can never work it out. I'm fairly certain it works in both, but does it round? I think it floors. Yeah, it floors, doesn't it? I don't want to floor, I want to round. Let's just do a round. Good old classic super duper slow round. This isn't a thing that's going to be happening terribly too often. It should be fine. I mean, technically with tile spacing and everything moving based on that, it should actually be relatively common for a lot of things to be running this per frame, but or occasionally on the same frame, but whatever. So yeah, blah blah blah. So now this should be the relative thing, so yeah, I just do that thing. So let's just do it this way. If tile 0 is equal to okay. Damage here. If tile 0 is equal to, so 0 is x, x is forwards, because that's just how that works. If that is it? I mean, yes, it always is. Why would I think it's not? I don't know. It's just because that's not how I visualize it in my mind right now. Because technically you're looking this way, to the side of the screen, or up. Everything's just rotated 90 degrees in the game engine. Because that's just the way it worked. I tried to undo it many times, but it just didn't work. So tile 0 is equal to 1. Let's just say greater than 0. If that is greater than 0, then this is the back. Else if tile 1 is less than 0, then this should be left, and this should be right. And just because I feel like that's how it should be. So left, back, right. Should be doop, doop, doop. I don't think that really matters. It just stops indenting from working when you press enter. Okay. Else. 1. I have spoken to you. Configure to provide error. Boop, boop, boop. So this would be inventory. Oops. 0. Inventory 1. Inventory 2. Okay, so now just rotation needs to be in... You're in radians, aren't you? Rotations in radians, blah blah blah.
Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth.
3 notifications. There's not 1. I keep getting notifications about posts I might have missed out on. Yeah, no. Never generally a thing I give a damn about. Yeah, no, I don't give a damn about a highlight.
Be me. American. Internet's down. Bored. Go outside. Don't get shot because most gun owners are completely cautious and safe people and exceptions are rare.
Go away. Come back. I'll watch it later. Okay. Blah blah blah. Okay, so that should stick it on the right inventory thing. Everything else should just work as it currently did before. Object inventory, inventory, inventory. So the place that it was doesn't know it's there anymore. It's new. Huh? Alright, so the place that it was, the inventory it was stalled at was that thing, and that thing doesn't know about it. It's now placed at this location, and this location knows of it, unless it's a combiner, in which case it's got to do a lap for its location, know what it is. And then object last is object inventory. Okay. So you gotta happen first. So its last inventory is what its inventory just was. So where it was doesn't know about it. Where it was is now what it knows where it was, and where it is now where it is, and where it is knows about what it is. Okay. It's not really where it is, it's where it's going, but anyway. Okay, I think that's all good now. So then when it reaches the combiner, it just gets deleted, and the combiner, I suppose before then, the combiner needs to do a check. No, wait. We have a problem. Problem is that the combiner is going to assume it has already arrived at this point. So as soon as it knows about this, it's assuming that this item's already there. So 2 of the items might be there. No, 1 item might be there with this one on its way, and then this item arrives and it thinks all items are there, so it creates the thing before that one's actually fully arrived. So I could just have an extra check, so I could delete where it was from here. Which means object inventory doesn't work anymore. Unless object inventory is also removed. Oh, okay. So if I just say that is equal to undefined, that should be good enough. And then delete it. So the instance that's stored within here will have that as being undefined, so I just need to check oh wait, no, this is just doing a tick by tick thing, isn't it? Well, I gotta get rid of that. So object inventory dot combine check. So let's just tell that to do a combining check. Okay. So object inventory item combiner, if it's arrived at this location, then it now no longer is stored in any inventory, it is deleted, and the I mean, I gotta know what that is before I can do that. The combiner is this thing. Okay, that thing is deleted, that thing's that. Combiner has a combiner check. And that will check the inventory to see if everything's arrived and it's a thing that's craftable and the connection things are connected. Oh, I don't even know about the connection things with the rotating whatever. Okay. So the combine check now needs to be a thing, and the combine check is just simply going to log what the possible recipes are. Okay. Which is basically going to be doing what this thing is. So you are now the combine check. Not a tick update. So when the combine check is run, if it has an inventory, which it would do because that's why it's asking to be run, recipe make needs to be logged. So I just want to log that information and return. So then the next thing would be the build time and to craft the thing that it's trying to make. Okay. And your thing is just inventory 012. Okay. Blah blah blah. So those are going to be undefines, or literally an undefined if there's nothing connected to that direction, which it doesn't. Oh, the string of undefined or a literal undefined, so it's going to be a string of undefined if there is nothing connected in that direction which it doesn't know about yet. That's the next thing we got to. Hang on a second. Does that mean? I mean, I always did it that way. Oh, it doesn't work. But I never did it that way. I think that's always been able to output to both of them, but I've just never given it a go. But who knows what that error was. Okay, so the idea is this thing's gonna log. Maybe. Let's see what happens. So nothing happened. I don't think that gave me an error or anything. You do what you do. You gonna go? Okay, that didn't work. Why did that not input? So that should be the object moving itself. Did I? Not, I'm pretty sure I did. Okay, so the object inventory that it's currently on is the conveyor belt. It's reached its location unless this didn't go. They should be constantly looping this thing. Okay. Oh Okay, that's still saying conveyor belt. Why do you still say conveyor belt? Because it's on a conveyor belt. Yes, yes. Just exactly what that should say. It is currently on the conveyor belt and it's trying to move to a combiner. I don't see why this would be a problem. Yeah. Tick update, blah blah blah. So this would be getting triggered, this should be true, we go through the things, we find out what it's connected to. Is it not connecting? I mean, it is connecting. Okay. What do you got to say about this? So it should be 2. Why do... Oh, okay, so it's original, and then with the 0, and then with the 2. I mean, then with the 1. So that should be this corner piece. What are you connected to? You are connected to combiner, yes, and to conveyor belt, but this is only outputting to combiner. So that should be looping through this. So whatever the thing is, modulus connected A and not connected direction, and object inventory connected A. Oh yes, that wouldn't be a thing because it's a combiner. Okay. So before I do this, I would say if that, then you must be a conveyor belt.
We live in an era when our cities are armed with steel and concrete.
I mean, either way, this would always be what it is, so a combiner or a conveyor belt is sort of irrelevant.
It doesn't change the fact that there exist a lot of strange phenomena. Bizarre.
Hello, person join. Feel free to ask questions if you want to know what's going on.
Most folks just don't see them. That's because we cling to order, to any tiny happiness that...
Let me know if the music's too low. So object inventory connected conveyor belt is irrelevant because we just want to check to see if this has one thing or multiple things. Maybe not. Alright, let's just grab you and move you back here. If it's a conveyor belt and not an inventory, and not an inventory, because that's the only thing we're really trying to change here. Everything else would be fine. That doesn't have an active side. Okay, no, it doesn't matter. So that would go there, and this would go there after that. So we'd want to do this, we'd want to do that. And that's what this thing would be. With that being a thing that wants to happen regardless. So you would just go in here. Okay. So if there's a connecting thing...
Stagnation. Cool music.
Oh, thanks. That's just a playlist. You should be able to find my playlist by checking out my YouTube. It's in a playlist. A lot of terrible stuff in it though. A lot of missing good things as well. Lots of stuff disappears. I actually deleted a song from it the other day. I scrolled down, it was like the page was unresponsive to press the shuffle button. It's like I clicked on YouTube because I thought it was just tabbed off, and it clicked on the delete button on some random song on my playlist. I'm like, no, I have no clue what that song was. A few of them I actually meant to put there, they were really hard to find. I'll never know. Anyway, blah 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 blah. Feel free to ask questions if you want to know what's going on, if I didn't say already. Object, blah 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 blah. So it's a conveyor belt. Conveyor belt just has one inventory thing, and if there's one inventory thing that's free, then we're good. If there's not something there, then we can put something there. So active side goes up because the side this one's output. Oh wait, no, active side would always go up. Never mind. As long as it's doing a thing. And I deleted that other thing to go about it, didn't I? Nope, I put it there. So that being undefined and active side are things that will always happen. That depends on if it's a conveyor belt, all of this depends on if it's a combiner. That's already there, so that can go away. Whoops. And that depends on if it's available. Okay. So if it's a conveyor belt, then we want to check for that. If it's a combiner, then we want to check that. And this, but not just this, we want to check for that. Okay, so all of that math will have to go. So else if it's a combiner. Whatever, let's just shove this in here for now. Why did that not indent correctly? Don't know, whatever. So yeah, active side goes up, that becomes undefined. We need to know, wait, we don't know about that stuff yet. So we need to do all of this stuff to figure out what this thing is. Okay, rather than doing that...
Stagnation. You like the hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, it was one of those things that went around Facebook, and I couldn't stop listening to it, so I decided to my playlist to stop listening to it. Rather than having that, it should be side. Let's call it side. So that's what that will be. Side is 2. Side is 1. Side equals 0. I mean, I only have 3, and if I'm doing that, then I can exclude this, because else would be that. But I could have that come up. I don't know, let's just keep it like this. Okay, so we go through the side is the side, with the side being the side, we can now check to see this. If that side is not a thing, and only now do we want to know if this thing's valid or not to be able to do this stuff. So there should be no alterations with this stuff in here. So that can all go away and be put in here. And that stuff also has to happen, maybe depending on this stuff, which happens after that. Which means they're going to do it twice. I'm going to optimize later. That's why that wasn't indented correctly. I feel like I've made another mistake somewhere. Whatever. Then the break also doesn't happen unless one of these things happen. Okay. So that's the long way of doing that. So again, an object's moving across a conveyor belt. When it reaches the position it's trying to get to, it now needs to find out where it's going to go next. So if it is on a conveyor belt, or an object that it's trying to move around. So it's happening every year. Yeah, it wouldn't make a difference though. Wait, it would make a difference. But I haven't forced rendering at the current anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. Blah 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 blah. So you're moving. If you've moved to your location or within enough range of that location, well, move to it or past it, then you're at that location. If that location is a conveyor belt that it's currently on, so if it's moved from wherever to a conveyor belt, then we need to know where you're going to go to next. So we need to go through any outputs the conveyor belt might have, starting from its active side that it wants to output from. Sure. And then it's checking to see if any of those sides are connected to anything. If it finds something that's connected, then and that thing is a conveyor belt, and that conveyor belt does not have an inventory, then the active side of the current conveyor belt goes up one, so next time it will start from the next side of the conveyor belt, so it splits out all the items evenly. Its inventory, this object, the place that this item was, now no longer knows it's there because it's moved on to the next place. The place where it is going knows that it's now there, and the place where it was at last is now not updated, so the object knows where it came from, and it knows where it's going knows that it's coming. Okay. Then break, we found what we're looking for. If it's going to a combiner, then we get the tile that the combiner is on, and then we minus the tile that this last came from. Which is not where it last came from, this is where it currently is now. Hang on. That's not right. Okay, the combiner. No? That is the combiner. So the combiner tile minus where this one's coming from, which is just where it is. It's not set to last anymore. Okay. So you minus the combiner's tile by the tile that it came from, which it still thinks it's there because it hasn't arrived at the next one yet, or it's just arrived. Anyway, whatever. Then we rotate that around by the rotation of the combiner, and then we round the location, and that should just give me positive or negative 1 in the X or Y, or what side it's on. So 1 is Y, which is left and right. Less than 0 would mean negative. 1 in the Y, which would be to the left. Positive would be to the right. And a positive in the X would be forwards, which is the back of the combiner. Okay. Anything else, we've got an error. Always a possibility. So then the object, inventory, connected, inventory side. So the combiner's inventory that this is trying to move into, if it's empty, then we can move into it. So object, inventory, active side goes up. Inventory is inventory, so where it was, or where it is, it isn't anymore, and it knows about it. And where it is now is where it's going, and where it was, it now knows, and where it's going, it now knows. Okay. I'm pretty sure that's alright. Then we break out of it. Okay. What syntax error did I make? I must have made one there. Crash. That doesn't move. That doesn't disappear till I move the mouse. Weird. Oh, there's syntax errors. Wait for everything to load in. Is that going slow? I'm having frame drops. Oh boy. What the heck are you on about? And that was just because the list is so long and it's rendering so much. And I need to put a limit on the list so it only renders the first X amount of things. Okay. It's still reasonably high, isn't it? Whatever. Okay, so if I do this, nothing should happen. Do that, create a thing, I only want one.
Stagnation. Are you making Half-Life 3?
So it's my own game engine, built line by line, letter by letter, no libraries, no other people's code, it's all my own from scratch. Don't even Google things because what's the fun in that? And it's currently about the quality of a PlayStation 1. Well, that's the goal. The goal is the quality of a PlayStation 1 in terms of poly count, which is this is sort of beyond and not beyond. It's about half that of the PlayStation 1. It can only handle around about 1,000 polygons per frame in pure just rendering shaded objects. I've since added real-time lights, so these lights up here actually are casting lights. They just don't cast shadows. The thing is just because I got a reflection map. You can sort of see brighter areas on the wall here. There's like a bright area there, there, and there, where the lights are actually reflecting. So it actually does interact correctly. If I turned off the HDR thingy, the reflection map, you'll be able to see it a whole lot better. Yeah, you should be able to see like very slight thing. Yeah, so I got that. I got normal maps as well, which do stuff. Like all of this is those are just 2D billboards, and they have normal maps, reflection maps, and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, nothing else to do all day. Oh, you've been in here for a while. I'm gonna open up my chest, see if you can grab it. What? Download to what? I think I got a full screen. Nope. Ooh. Open the chest. I have 23 lemons in my chest. I never open the chest because I'm assuming you're subscribed. Otherwise I can't do it for some amount of time. I'm not sure how it works. I don't know if you have to be subscribed then active. Whoa, lemon. A diamond, I mean, sorry. It'd be better if you diamond then open it. Whatever. You would have had more in the chest. And 0. Hey, you got it! There you go. Yeah, I hardly ever get viewers on here, so the chest sits there for a very long time before ever being opened. That's the second time I've opened it this year. Yeah, it's got normal maps, speculative maps, reflection. No. Yeah, normal maps, reflection maps, roughness maps, diffuse maps, and I think one other map? Or was it just 4? Was it 4 or 5? I don't know. But that's on each one of these shapes to give them that look. So the reflection map that's on everything is actually on these. And distorts as it should.
Your woman voice, you'll get more viewers.
Yeah. Well, this text-to-speech thing used to be a woman's voice, but then it changed. Now it's a guy's voice. It's very annoying. They like to just change it every now and again. But yeah, look how good they are. They actually interact with the lights and everything. So even though it's a billboard thing, if I go underneath it, it's darker because all the lights are above, obviously. And if I was to look at it directly down, it'd be a lot lighter because lights.
Stagnation. It's a trans, I guess.
Yep. It's yeah. The voice is just
very impressive with the billboard.
Oh, I know, right? They bypass the poly limits as well, so I have 1,000 poly limits for actual meshes, but these things are not included in that.
How are you rendering them?
With math. I mean, I literally show you. I think it fits in a page. Shape post. Billboards. Ignoring all of the normal stuff. I guess I could just delete all this stuff now. It's definitely not being used. That's the simple one, right? I have a I'm pretty sure I had 2 different types of billboards. Why is lights... Oh, that's just normal mesh stuff, doing the lighting for normal mesh. Highlight. What's a highlight? Oh yeah, highlight for mousing over interactable things. And then billboard simple. And not simple billboard, I guess. I couldn't get the not simple one working. I could delete all this stuff now, I guess. Normal maps are working perfectly acceptably, better than the normal maps with actual meshes. Light calculations seem to be on point. Yeah, there you go. That's how I do a billboard.
Stagnation. 70% of the time I regret deleting my commented code.
Yeah, I've got backups of backups though, at least I think I do. Actually, I don't know. Let's make a backup of this entire project. How about we do that? I don't think I have one of those yet. Copy paste. Boop. There we go. That's how I do a backup.
Stagnation. Commented code hoarder.
Yeah. I went through a while ago and deleted all my commented code of all sorts of junk a while ago. There's still some stuff wrong with this though. Stuff I need to add to it, because I need to make it so a billboard that's apparent to a light source is not affected by the parent light source. That's why they all light up when you look at them. Because that puts the light directly behind, and the face is inverted for those ones. Wait, why aren't they inverted for these ones? Are they inverted? They actually could very well be inverted. I wouldn't be able to tell, I don't think. Oh, I guess they are. I would be able to tell, because that would go dark. Huh. This is the normal map? I don't know.
Stagnation. Things you should do at least once every hour. Stretch, hydrate, and back up your code.
Don't forget to save. Yeah, I deleted a whole heck of a lot of stuff from my functions code. I went through every single thing and found... I literally just went line by line through pretty much everything. This used to be about 10,000 lines, and now it's only 7,000. So, I probably added that 200 since then. Probably not even, actually. I'm not sure. I've at least added 100 lines.
Stagnation. What will the end game look like? Play.
So the idea of this game is it's a factory building game. The basic premise of it or whatever was it has to start out simple and get increasingly more complicated without actually being more complex. With the minimal amount of everything. So no UI is a thing that I always like to have because I hate UI. I'm very bad at it. UI is where my project's going to die. And it's a factory game, because I just want to build a factory game. And it has to work within my game engine with 1,000 polygons, which is very limiting. And be in first person, and not something that could just be done as a 2D top-down thing, but, you know, is 3D.
Stagnation, like Victoria, a dangerous drug.
Yeah. So what I've gone with is, you're inside of this building thing. This is the front side, you can tell because of the slanted, sloping roof. So that side's the input, the rest of the walls are outputs. You'll create something and then output it to these sides. Anyone will work, doesn't really matter which one. And you'll probably be given a thing to build X amount of an item and dump it out the side, and then it'll tell you another recipe thing. There'll probably be a big screen over here or over there. It probably makes sense being on the back. I'm not sure. Could be on a side. I'm thinking of a big interactable screen that you can click on and stuff like that, but again, aren't UI. It's coming close to needing that though. Yeah, so what I've got is this is the input thingy here, it just inputs things. So it's input this thing, which is a exotic ingot, I'm calling it. Don't know what to call it. So an exotic ingot is a thing that can become like other things depending on how you treat it, but by default it acts like iron. And you have a conveyor belt and a combiner, which is the only two things you can build. So if you conveyor belt this into the side of a combiner, it will turn into something. If you conveyor belt it into the back, it'll convert it to something else.
Stagnation, eggs in God.
Yeah, exotic ingot. Or ingot. Ingot. Yeah, so if you put it in the side, it turns into a rod, and if you put it into the back, it turns into a plate. Then you have another combiner, and if you put a rod in the side and a plate in the back, it'll make a tube. If you put rods on all sides, I have it making a gear, but I feel like that's not quite right. I mean, a gear should be made out of a plate, not rods, or whatever. Yeah, all sorts of combinations like that. So you only ever build two things, and you only start with one thing, but then you get more and more and more things.
Stagnation. Been playing Stationeers. Kinda similar.
Stationeers. Is that one where you're on a spaceship and you build it as like a top-down
Has
isometric?
atmospherics.
I remember. Oh, that one. Oh yeah, this one. This one. No, it's not this one. I'm thinking of a different one. Oh, that looks quite. They got a redstone.
Stagnation. It's 3D by Dean Hall.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I really don't like that wiring though. Everything's just going to everything. Very interesting. I feel like I tried it at one point, but...
Stagnation. No. I don't like it either.
This isn't that one... No, it couldn't be. Unless it's just been spammed full of this other stuff. That's not the one where you start and there's like fact. No, it did not have people that looked like this. There was some game where you start and you have factions and you choose a faction and you can be a miner or a pirate or whatever, but it's like very lacking in gameplay really. But
Stagnation. It's come a long way.
yeah, you could build stuff like, well, not logic-y things like this, but you could build things like that, so you'd have like doors and things and different components. They all actually make your spaceship work, so you need to have the components and you need to connect them up and all that sort of stuff, and it's pretty cool. But it's really, really boring, and you just sort of do your own thing, and that's the game. It doesn't have a story or missions, and the sandboxing part of it's not quite there unless you actually have a big online server of people to
Stagnation.
perpetuate
It's
it.
based on Space Station 13.
Oh, okay. Space Station 13's that one where it's a top-down thing and you can kill people, I think is the purpose as far as what people have said. So you can become a janitor and you can like shiv a guy in a hallway using a broken broom handle or something and then shove him out an airlock and clean up the blood so nobody knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to get into that, but I just... like... I can't commit. It seems like something you gotta play a lot of before it'll start becoming fun, or be there with people you know, which I don't. Anyway, what was it having to... So I got a flowchart of things you can do at the beginning. So, yeah, with my game, when you, you'll build more and more things until you end up with something which is like Factorio's science packs. So I'm calling it MacGuffins because it's a MacGuffin. So you start off with the exotic ingot, which acts like iron. You can combine it together to make rods and plates, and then tubes, frames, gears, mechanical component.
Stagnation. Super complex. You can cultivate a virus to make people's eyes pop out or such like.
Yeah. And it all depends on the server of people, because it's all real people, isn't it? It's not NPCs and stuff. Every person is a person, so you gotta play at the right times and all that. I don't know. I feel like it's too likely that some person's gonna join, they're not gonna know what they're doing, or not gonna care what they're doing, and they just sort of ruin it for everybody else. But I really don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you combine things together.
Stagnation. What app is this?
It is not diagrams, it's I don't know. It's a Google thing, it's just on your Google Drive or whatever. It's a flowchart thing, If you just Google flowchart programs, it's one of the ones that come up. I normally know the name, but I can't remember it. Diagrams.net apparently will come up with it. No, I can't remember.
Stagnation. You have too many tabs, I think.
I have 130 tabs on this browser according to that, over 7 windows. That is one of 3 browsers. And this is the lesser browser. Yeah, comment everybody always makes. I do need to clean them up a bit though. Like Sekiro stuff is still in here, oh my god.
Stagnation. You have a problem.
Yeah, I just use everything constantly. Anyway, so you go through all the stuff, and then you make a mechanical MacGuffin is the first thing you make. And then you add the mechanical MacGuffin to the exotic ingot to create a copper ingot. So now you have copper and iron products. And then you make a electromechanical MacGuffin, and then you have silicon, and then silicon... Whoa, buddy.
All of it, okay?
I have no clue how that just happened.
Need one promise from you, all right? Just one. Promise me
Stop
you'll
talking.
never drink alcohol.
Yeah, and then I could just continue this for as much as I can imagine. That's as far as I got so far before I'm like, yeah, let's just continue. It seems like something that would work. It's a weird way I did that last one. Yeah, so this one would be a electric MacGuffin, electro MacGuffin or something instead of electromechanical. And then the next one would be a smart one, so you would, from silicon stuff, you would build something which allows you to, like, crystals. And then you can have, like, sensors and clocks and stuff like that, so you can make a smart MacGuffin, then, I don't know, you get titanium or something, and then you can make exotic MacGuffin, I don't know.
Stagnation. Whoa, how do you do that switch join thing?
I have a bot that I made. Who joined on Twitch? I wasn't paying attention. Hello, person join. Feel free to ask questions if you want to know what's going on. It's probably mostly just bots. Oh, is it that guy? I don't think I've noticed that name before. Or is it that one? I feel like that's a bot one. You just never know. The problem with it doesn't distinguish between bots, so it says there's only me here right now. Unless it's not me here right now, because I tabbed out. I don't know.
Stagnation. I think it was Jeff Bezos, you just missed him.
It says in my chat thing. Yeah, it says Nez guy.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah. I had one guy pop in one time saying he was from Silicon Valley. I think I made him angry. I was like, I don't get Silicon Valley though. Like, why is that a place? Like, you got the internet. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. You could just do it over the internet. Being at that one location shouldn't really give you any benefit over any other when it comes to technology and things, or should it? Like, like programmers and app designers and stuff like that. I don't know. I think that made him angry. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, anyway, so you might have noticed that there's a whole lot of stuff you can create here, and that's just so far. This is a 9x9 building. You won't be able to fit it all within this building. Oops. So the idea is, once you do a certain amount of missions, you'll be able to sort of...
Stagnation. I think living in Silicon Valley makes you a better person.
Okay.
Clearly.
More wealthy person, at the very least, because I imagine it costs a lot to live there. Yeah, once you do a certain mission, you'll be able to sort of zoom out. And when you zoom out, your entire factory that you've just been working in turns into a single combiner. And you have like a whole new area. So the input... Okay, the back's gonna have to be the output then. Sure, why not? That's a bit confusing now, actually. Whatever. Because if you've got 3... Anyway, whatever. The whole thing becomes just one of these combiner things. And then as you keep going, you'll be able to zoom out again. It becomes a combiner thing again. And so on and so forth. But that was what I was originally thinking anyway, which is why it's called Fractory. Because it's a factory that's like a fractal. It's a 9x9 area, but
Stagnation.
each one of those
Maybe he
areas...
lives underneath, in tunnels or something. Might be cheaper.
Yeah. The 9x9. Who is he? Jeff Bezos. Well, the guy I was talking to. Whatever. Yeah, the 9x9 area. Every tile of that could contain another 9x9 area, which has another 9x9 area. So it's like a fractal. You just keep zooming in and in and in. In theory, you wouldn't actually, because that's too high poly count.
Stagnation. Carry on, don't let me distract you.
That's half the point of the chat. So, yeah. Hence fractoring. But now I'm thinking it might be easier, because if I'm doing that, I need to... I simplify the entire factory to just inputs, outputs, how long does it take to go from one to the other, and it will run like a simulation with max load to see what the average time is and all that sort of stuff for a thing. Which is really annoying, because I've got to watch out for logic systems that people could build. Because if you build logic, you can mess up that whole system. Yeah, so... yeah, now I'm thinking you might just be able to unlock a customizable one that you can put down, which will allow you to create your own custom recipe, basically. So you would go inside of it, you would build your thing.
Stagnation. You're doing great. Looks amazing.
Yeah, well, if you say so. I'd say it's the second, third best. I don't know. I have a number of other games. If you want to see my other collection of stuff, it should have a link to my website if you scroll down. You just got to watch out with the 3D things because performance issues, especially if you're running on Linux. There seems to be a lot of problems with Linux users. Don't run it on a phone. It might just crash your phone, or it might just sit there doing nothing and crash your browser. I don't know. But it won't run, I know that for certain. And I can't figure out why exactly it won't run. This just freezes your browser when it's loading these things. Very annoying. Not around that. This is the previous one I was working on, which is it was supposed to be a city builder. It's like I could build interactable UIs. And this works a heck of a lot better on my new one. That's the outline thing. Billboards and stuff. It's got day-night cycle. Interactable things. Then things started glitching out and I got annoyed, so I didn't want to play anymore. I didn't want to make it anymore. Things I've now fixed. Doesn't tell you you're out of water. Oh, because it ran adaptation slots, never mind. Anyway. But this went through a number of different changes and then I completely changed it. And I didn't really know what I was doing, so I didn't really do anything except for whatever I felt like was necessary at the time. Which is not a good way to work. You gotta have a plan for what you want to do, otherwise it just sort of breaks you. Yeah, normal maps and everything look real nice. It looks nice at nighttime. Where's the sun at? So the lights are actually lighting up the areas underneath them, around them and stuff. Love it. I also have like a sunrise sunset thing. Yeah. As the sun rises. You can't see the sun though when it's nighttime and it's underneath. So the other side. Drawbridge thing. Yeet! Yeah, anyway, how's that? I feel like this is my best looking game. It's also my most sort of minimalist style one, but it's one where I actually did art things, if only accidentally. Spaceship game. I'd really, really like to continue with this game. I was talking to a person a while ago who said she was going to help, but I talked to many people who said they're going to help and they never do. I really like the look of it though. It just looks so damn nice with the super pixelated stuff, the low quality. Yeah, all sorts of different rooms and stuff. the idea of this is like basically... Are you still there? Let me know if you're still there before I rant about what this game is. Because this could be a long rant. If you want to know the full story about it. I feel like this game has the most potential. Where am I? Am I on the bottom floor? I am. I dropped down a floor. Yeah. I don't know what the best looking room is. Hello there, kitty cat. Yes, I see you. Standing directly in front of my screen, on top of my mouse. Alright, come on, kitty cat. There you go. Want some attention? Get you some more food tomorrow, kitty. Oh, no. You're attacking me on my own table. Anyway. Back to this. So, what's it on? Boop, boop, boop. Connecting. I was doing a test. Haha, movement's so slow now. So I got that thing, let's connect it up, see what it says. Error. Conveyor to combiner error nada nada. I mean, you say that, but you also worked. Or at least it moved. Then it crashed. Nada nada. So apparently this is not a number? Do you not have a tile? I'm fairly certain you should have a tile. When I put down a combiner, I put down a combiner by clicking on the level, which is Q, mouse down, create a combiner, the combiner has tile. You do have a tile, object tile. Object inventory connected a dot tile. The item has to be a combiner, so this has to be a thing, which means it has got a tile. This should exist, it should be a thing. Tile equals an array of two things. Tile 0 minus object inventory tile 0, which would be a conveyor belt. So again, when I click on the ground, oh no, when I click on the side of a combiner or any other object, blah blah blah, object a tile, tile is tile, you have a tile. Tile is tile, this should be all valid. It's created from the side of a different object. Regardless, no. So you already exist if you're clicking on the side of another object, but you need to place something down. No, what? Oh no, that's clicking on the connection thing. Okay, so that's placing something, that's connecting to already existing things. Okay. Tile is tile. So regardless, that should be fine. Why is... oh, when's my enemy now? 17 minutes. Object inventory connected, blah blah blah, tile object, blah blah. 0, 0, 1 is 1. It could be this thing? I'm like 80% sure that's how that works. This is the wrong place to be looking for that. Where am I? XY angle, yep. Problem is this may not have a rotation. You should be a generic 3D object by default, which should have a rotation by default. Oh, rotation in a dimension. This would be in the Z. That would be a problem right there. Why did that not pause? Because it was already broken. No need to pause if it's not running. That's good. How does it go away until that happens? Whatever. Go again. What? I was gonna say, it didn't tell me an error that time. Until that happened. Okay. Cannot read property output of undefined. Output of undefined. Oh, interesting. 1262. 12. 62. That. Oh. Yeah. Say that's the point of that check there. Really annoying how long it takes to load everything. Batch that in some sort of a way. Making just sub-atlas maps is the only way I can think of though. But that is going to be a huge damn pain to get working. I have to create custom code for whenever it requires a custom atlas. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. Yes, I do. I mean, I could also have different UVs for the different things, but that means different UVs for every vertice, which is another thing I'd have to code. Multiple UV map support. That ain't gonna happen. Okay. What error do you give me this time? Undefined. Because... No. Why the heck are you undefined? That's not at all what that should be. So that should have just done a combine check. Combine check said if any of these things are a thing, then you just dump that through recipe make 012 object inventory 012. So object inventory 0 should have been an exotic ingot, which would be that. An iron rod is the only acceptable thing that would have just said. Ugh. That's a good burp. It's like a backwards one. This is a recipe make. I guess it should be like check or something. It's like what recipes can you make with that? Iron rod. Okay. So why did that not say that? Does it have some sort of a thing within its inventory by default which I don't know about? I feel like that's the easiest way to find an object. Oh, because that's not what you are. Yeah, that'll happen. Dot item. I feel like I could just do that. Wait, what? What? Let's try that again. Ah, it takes so damn long to load. Hurry up. What happens? Item of undefined. That's the point of the ore part of that. Okay. Let's do it this way then. I mean, that's literally what it is already. Unless I put .id, .name, .item. I think a name is what I also have. Why isn't it not by name? Why do I have item? Whatever. I mean, I have a specialized place just for name, which is a not unique identifier. Yeah, so I want it to be its name, or I want it to be undefined. Sure, let's just do it this way. So if that is no, what? If that is a thing, that is really annoying. So basically, I want to say if that is a thing, then that or undefined. Okay. And then I can just replace this with that. Okay. Then I could add an extra condition on top of that if the conveyor belt's not connected to a side. Do I need to wrap that whole thing up? Oh, that's not what that is. It's this. That'd be what it is. It's weird. No! Okay, I should probably be logging that as well, shouldn't I? Wow, what the heck are you saying now? Oh. There we go. That one should work. Log it just in case. Damn it. Oh. Iron Rod! Hooray! And that one shouldn't go in. Great! I did a double check without even meaning to. Okay. So now the question is, what happens if I try to input through the front? Because technically, according to this, that will still happen. So we've got to continue. I'll have to have some sort of a condition that you can't set it to be an input into an output or an output into an input. It will be by default only what it can be. But for now, I guess that is fine. So it did seem to go into the right inventory thing, and it did seem to do the whatever. So now let's just plug it in different places. And then if there's only one thing that it can do, let's make it make that thing until I have, well, no, that's how it would work. Boop. Haha. Oops. Technically I want one third one. So this one should be on the last thing, which should still say rod. Yes. Yep. And that thing should be the first and second. Is this going to be the middle? Nope. Next one will be the middle. So that should not go in. Right, next one's going to be the middle. Huh? Oh, it's doing the error thing. Okay, I might have the front and back reversed then. So that means this one's going to do the thing. Yeah, okay. That's going to be the middle one. Hooray! So the back one is reversed. This needs to be a less than. Other than that, that is perfectly correct. Okay. So now I just got to make it so when a conveyor belt is connected but has not received its input, that it will have an undefined. No, when there is no conveyor belt connected, it'll have undefined as text. No. When a conveyor belt's connected but it hasn't received its input, then it will be undefined as a text. No, what? So when there is no conveyor belt connected, it's undefined as a text. When there is, but it hasn't received its item yet, then it's undefined as a thing. So, okay. No. No. What? So, should this be a text or not a text? No, that needs to be a text. So it's going to be undefined if it's connected but haven't received anything yet, and undefined as a text if it isn't connected because it's not required. Yes, but no. But yes? So the question then is, if that's undefined and this is that, what will it do? Let's have a look. So I know that one will work. What if I do this? Perfect. Which I think I already had that one tested. And then if I did that. Okay. So flipping the left and right part around doesn't matter. Great. So the only thing I've got to be careful for is just having things flipped. I should have like an order of priority for items being placed. I need to create a list, a hierarchy of an indexing list of the whatever. Alright, with that done, okay, moving on. What's next? Let's make a pop out an item. So that'll say that. And I don't really need to do that right now anymore. So make is equal to that if make obj len of that is equal to 1. There is only one possible thing it can make. Then hang on, I have a thing for this. OBJ. Oh, damn it. OBJ length indexes. Let's just do that. And then I can just say that dot length is equal to 1. Oh, time's up. Then item is simply replaced with make 0. And that should be it. Alright, there I go. It should now spit out an item. Wait, no. I mean, yes, but it doesn't know what this is. What conveyor belt will it output to? So this thing's inventory is that. That is connected to. I guess I just know which way the front way is. Okay. Sure, why not? I guess I start with the back one. Uh-huh. Where do I want to put them? I guess I'll put one there and one there. Error. I cannot convert undefined or null object. Where the heck are you? Okay. What? Alright, maybe it was a little too early to remove what that was saying. What are you? Equals that. Wait, I had a byproduct of a different one of these things. Oh, this just pops out the first thing, so I suppose that would work. And then I don't do this, and then No, that's not how that works. It just feels a bit unnecessary doing this. I need to know if it contains things. If it contains... If that equals 1, so if it's only got one thing within the object, then I want to get whatever the first key is, which is what that one will do. The index, the first index. So that should just give me the first index. It's just annoying because I basically have 2 loops going just to check to see if it exists, or what its length is. I'm gonna loop through all the indexes, and then if it's only got one, I don't know. Whatever. Let's just go with that. And what does make? Did I get a Facebook message? Yes, but not from the person I thought. Okay. Refresh. Alright. Go again. I'll put them further back this time. Okay, what the heck are you gonna do? Okay, well it was correct, and then it says undefined 1184. Oops. What? Oh, you're not returning anything, are you? Yeah. That's the problem. So it's probably nothing to do with the rest of that stuff I was trying to do. Alright, make undefined 1194. Interesting. So that should have just said iron rod. Everything's copy pasted, so I didn't make mistakes with that. Okay. OBJ to no object. Indexes? That. Object index. Index indexes. Yeah, indexes. One goes to an index, and one shows you what the indexes are. What the IDs are. Okay. So if I do that again, then I can get rid of this thing, and it's this thing dot length again, which means this is first. I didn't even put the damn. I'll get there eventually. Now it should work. 35 days since I last reset. How the heck has it been 35 damn days already? Oh my god. No, 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 don't tell me this. No. I have been sitting in this room for 35 damn days? 35 days! 35 days ago I moved my table in here. I thought it was like a couple of weeks. Oh. Oh, come on. Again? So that 0 should be this. The heck, bruh? There's not something wrong with the iron rod, is there? They should all be the same code. Ah, my god. Again! Ah. Bruh. It is. What? Oh my, I did it again! How many times am I gonna do this? I even pointed out the error and then made that error. Oh my god. I am not in the right frame of mind right now, am I? I thought I was doing pretty good. I didn't feel wrong at all. I feel like my mind's working at 100% right now. I've even been typing without making mistakes. It's crazy. It feels like everything's just off for my performance-wise. Oh, that is a completely different error. I forgot about that one. I have to move the mouse before clicking on a different object, otherwise it doesn't know where I'm clicking. Mouse move only moves when the mouse moves. Hooray! I made an iron rod. I didn't have an output when it did the check, did I? Okay, so I need to have an output when it does the check. The check's not checking for undefined, and I need to delete the object once the check is done. Let me just message my friend, see if he wants to watch this anime now. Okay. So... what am I doing? When you do this thing, you must first check if that is a thing. Okay, this does need actual conditions now. if... No, it doesn't. Okay. If that is a thing, and that dot and v is equal to undefined. So if it's equal to undefined, then that means it's arrived at its position and it's now waiting. In which case, do your thing. If this stuff happens, and this is all valid, and you are now creating your thing, then we need to delete what is currently stored in the inventory. Technically, the delete for the individual objects themselves is already completed, which means IDs could be now different IDs to what they are supposed to be. So I probably shouldn't have that happen. I'd rather delete that way, so rather than deleting the... again... It just doesn't feel right though. So rather than deleting that, I delete down there, but I don't want it to render when it's inside the thing, so I need to disable the rendering. But to disable the rendering, I have to... I could just put a little tick on it, okay. Dot render equals 0. There you go. Okay. I believe that is all that's required from that. Display. I feel like it should actually be rendered, but display is what I put on everything, I assume. The other object's still down here, probably. Please don't tell me I called this one render. Huh. Doesn't even have a display. Huh. What do you know? Where? Where was that? So, blah blah blah, then the conveyor belt, so that doesn't delete anymore, in which case it needs to delete when it does its thing. Fine, I'll take the thing. I'm having damn notifications on Facebook right now. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I feel like that stuff's pretty okay to just comment out for now. Probably out of back in again. Dot delete. Equals undefined. So delete them, make them undefined. Why do I... Where do I... Got one, I guess. Scene is scene, blah blah blah. Okay, so that should clear the inventory, make a room for the next one to go through. When a new conveyor belt is connected to this thing needs to make do its check. So that would be a mouse down on an object to a tile that's a new tile, which connects it together, but I have no conditions to see if it's a combiner, okay? So where do I go for that? Blah 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 blah. If I'm doing the thing, and the thing is blah. So we're doing the thing. We're getting the levels, getting the offset. We get the tile location offset by the normal direction because everything's square. As long as I keep everything blocky, that's all fine. No angles. Then blah 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 to figure out where I'm gonna put it, north, south, east, west, depending on the different conditions. I really feel like there's a better way to do that, but no, I need the connection for the directions. Blah 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 blah, and then we do a connection update. I suppose the connection update would be where I'd put it actually. Why do I have a connection update on a conveyor belt? Connection update on a conveyor belt. There must be a condition in there for a connection update on a conveyor belt. So connection update, I mean on a not conveyor belt. Oh no. Okay. It'd be a connecting update, not a disconnecting. Okay, could be a disconnecting update too. So just an update which has anything to do with. Okay, so connection update. It's that's where the problem is. So the connection update only updates its own connection and then sets off the connection updates for the things around it. The conveyor belt, I mean the combiner, does not have a connection update. So I should give it a connection update, but of an alternate type. Okay. So a combiner. We'll have. What? No. A connection update, which will be just simply to do that. Okay. So now checks connection updates when doing that. And so disconnecting, reconnecting things will make it check to see if it's spit out an item or won't spit out an item if it's not connected. If it's not completed its journey. When it spits out an item, it will clear its inventory so the next item can go through. Huh? Well, that worked, but it still didn't pass any more through. Did I get a whole lot of errors? No. Wait, that's still there. I thought I commented that out. I didn't upload. Ben should have messaged me by now. We've been waiting for this episode for ages. Where's he at? I bet he just watched it without me, didn't even say anything. And let's sigh. Oh, because it doesn't exist. All such simple mistakes. And then we go again. Hey! Production producing! Yeah, just because I can. Plates. Hey! Oh yeah, boy. That ought to be interesting. Yeah, I gotta have it so when it moves, it updates the previous thing as well. So when it moves out of that into here, or frees up that, like it can call for that to now produce a thing. Because, yeah, this won't produce any more. What? It's producing more. Is it? No. Okay, I just took that long to go through. Yeah, so it doesn't know to output. But if I do that, then that should have been a disconnect reconnect. No. Okay, what's going on inside of you? I have no clue which one that is. It'll be the one, so that'll be a 1, 2, that's a 4 I think, so 3. No? So input is at 1, so it would be a 0, it would be a 1. So that's a 0 is this one, a 1 is that one, so I'm assuming that would be a 0, 1, and it's the soonest one around. So if that's a 0, 1, 2, 3, and that would be a 0, 1. Okay. Corruption through the floor. I don't know why it launches me down though. So, what is this location? 0, 0. Yes. Well, I've only got whatever combiner, so it should actually just be this combiner. Because I have the original combiner I clicked when I started, then 0, then 1. So I believe you're just this one. So apparently it's a -1. Oh, I was looking at the numbers the wrong way. Okay, and your inventory is you have connected. You have a connected update. And your inventory is 3 different things. Excuse me? How did that happen? Alright, oh, really got a problem here. Anyway, I'm gonna watch an anime now. I have waited long enough. I'm just gonna watch it. Yeah, so that's probably a problem with the conveyor belt connections for what side it goes into, although I'm not sure how that worked initially, because it should have always been wrong, but it seemed to be correct. Unless the first thing that popped out of this thing was a rod, which it was not, so... I'm assuming when it went in, it was already blocked, so it went in, but it thought it was from a different direction, because that direction was already taken. Just the way it cycles around these things for what direction it should go out from. That's being cycled. In which case they all actually should be cycled. Let's have a quick look at that. Wait, you don't even have anything being output. You should be able to be output, but you're not. Oh. Well, both of them blocked up, so it cycled around, got to the end, and that was that. Okay. I think that's the problem. So I gotta make a lot of adjustments. Anyway. Is it the same inventory problem? Yeah, that's all blocked up. That one is also all blocked up. Alright, so we've got a number of problems here. Hang on. 120. 120. Okay, that's a completely different problem. They all have the same inventory. That is the thing I feel like I should fix immediately. Before they just had a single index, so a make would have sufficed. But now they do not. And that is a custom property that I don't want to put into the make function. Okay. That's because the base one has an inventory. So the base one should not have an inventory. You only gain an inventory when created. That'll stop that problem from happening, so they all had the same inventory. I'm not quite sure how they were producing different things. I guess because it just went in... It went in to that one, which produced the whatever, then it went into that one, which meant it only had that one item. So that would be why all three were blocked up, not because of a conveyor belt problem. Nice. So that means I just need a feedback function of some sort. So when an object moves off of a conveyor belt, the conveyor belt behind knows it can update to this one now. So you need to check back and run its whatever thing, which is a conveyor belt property. Yeah, sure. So it checks back to look at the items on it to see if they need to go, or the device is connected to see if they need to go. And then the device would check back to the conveyor belts. Okay. That'd be the next thing to do. Okie dokie. Other than that, everything I believe seems fine. Performance seems a little high. Oh, I am rendering a bajillion things now. That's pretty decent considering. I should be able to double that, and it's still within. Yes, 1,000 should put that pretty damn high up to maxed out. It's very inconsistent with how that works. 500 does not do as much as doubling. Like if you double 500, it doesn't do as much as the first 500. It's weird. But anywho, and I believe all of that isn't even really a big thing on my CPU. So I'm using 50-ish% of my CPU right now. And then if I crash that, I'm using 40%. So although it looks like a massive hit to this thing, it's only a graph of this. So it was probably like that one or something that was running it. I don't really get how it works. I could put web workers into the mix, but if I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to be just doing the next version of the game engine, which is instead of using web workers, I use the graphics card. The graphics card's just a bajillion web workers that all work magically quick. Every single vertice can have its own thread, basically. But that is complicated. and requires a whole lot of super duper advanced stuff, which is going to be taking months to code. Anyway, I think I'm going to go now. Okay, thanks, bye.